Hi friends, welcome again to Yoga with Sarah Trapani. I'm Sarah and we're taking an express yoga flow practice today. A little bit of a hip opening theme. So I'll see you on the mat. So we're going to start this practice laying down on the back, please. Come down onto your back. And as you arrive on your back with palms facing up, let your toes splay open and let's take an inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it out your mouth. And close your eyes to arrive in this practice today. Taking a body scan and noticing how you feel. Relaxing all the tension away from your forehead, your eyebrows, your lower jaw. Tracing a line from the base of the skull down along the curve of your neck, down into your lower back, down into the tip of the tail. Take your focus on the space where the thigh bones connect to your pelvis, the hip sockets. And visualize a lot of light and flow through those hips and into your lower back sacrum. And then start to bring your heels a little closer together and take your hands on your belly for a moment. Set your intention for this practice today. What do you want to cultivate in this time on your mat? Inviting compassion for wherever you're at today and always trusting you can back off at any point. So we're tuning into our own inner guide and listening to your intuition. Now draw your right knee in toward your side waist for a squeeze. Flex your feet. As you gather that right thigh in, wrap the left inner thigh down toward the floor. And then take your right hand to the outside of your ankle or the outside edge of your foot for a half happy baby. Take your left hand and press it lightly on top of the hip point of the left side or on top of the thigh. Flex your feet, and with your right shoulder blade dropping down into the ground, traction the outside edge of your right foot towards your outer knee. Holding there, pressing gently that right lower back and sitting bone away from your face. And then slide your left foot onto the ground, cross your right ankle on top of your left thigh, coming into figure 4. And hold there, or if it's available, thread the needle. Slip your right hand in between the space in your legs, and hands are in the knee crease or the front of the shin. Point and flex your feet and see how that feels in your right hip. How does that right hip feel today? When you flex the feet lightly, pause and let your mind linger on the area of the most sensation that you notice. And breathe into that tension with a smooth, steady breath through the nose. Then gently hug the legs in a little closer toward your body. Uncross, bring your feet mat width distance apart and come into a cactus arm. Shoulder blades tucking under the back. Start to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Massaging out your lower back. Massaging out your hips. Pausing anywhere that feels good to pause. When your knees come back to center, hug your knees in, give a gentle squeeze, then slip your hands in front of your left shin and slide your right leg out straight. Traction your left thigh in toward your side waist as your right thigh bone drops down toward the floor, and very subtly lengthening that right heel away from your hip. And then take your left hand to the outside of your ankle or toward the outside blade of that left foot, and we're bending that left knee at a 90-degree angle. The left heel is over the knee. The right hand can press for now right on top of that right hip point or thigh bone. And both shoulder blades are relaxed. And in particular, that left shoulder blade plugs down toward the floor, and you keep a subtle hugging of that left inner knee in toward the midline so it doesn't splay too much. Half happy baby pose. Working on opening the hips today. We may carry some emotion in the hips, so approach these poses with a sense of tenderness and compassion as you observe whatever comes up. Breathing, always returning to the breath as an anchor point to bring you back to center. And then step your right foot on the ground, cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh. Thread the needle and go ahead and come into figure 4 pose on this side, feeling that head of the femur wrap into the hip socket. Let the throat be open, let the jaw relax so the teeth are unclenched. And again, any rocking is welcome as you tune into how that left hip feels. Is it different than the right side? Be curious and open. And then hug the legs in a little closer. Let's uncross, bring your feet back on the floor, hip width distance. Open your arms out into a cactus. Start to windshield wiper again. And then when you windshield wiper to the right, roll yourself over onto the right-hand side, resting there. Inhale, exhale, let it out. Then slowly we're pressing on up. And then as you press on up, let's take our right heel right behind that left sitting bone and swing your left heel around so that your right foot can be on top of that left thigh. You're facing your right knee. Now that might be a nice place to stay and fold over that right thigh, bringing your nose toward the knee. In fact, let's work with a flow in this simple movement. That right foot is flexed. Drop the tail on the inhale, lift on up. And you can let that right knee point right out from the hip socket. Lift your heart, and then exhale, fold. Bring your palms all the way to the ground, nose toward knee. And then inhale, wave on up, sitting up tall. And then exhale, fold over that right thigh. Right foot is flexed. And we're going to come on up. Now, if it's available for you, extend that left leg straight back and roll the left hip down, coming toward a pigeon position. The left hip point is pointing forward toward the front of your mat. And you're going to lift up through the chest, taking a pause there. And then shift over into that outer right thigh and slowly slide that left leg around. And then we're going to switch. Bring that left heel toward your right sitting bone. You're going to point that left knee straight ahead. Swing your right knee around so that your left foot is stepping on top of your right thigh. And then go ahead and fold over that left thigh. Palms can be about under the shoulders as you fold. Exhale. Inhale, waving up to tented fingers. Gently looking up. And then exhale, fold, nose to knee. Inhale, resist that outer thigh into the ground a little bit. Sit up tall, and then exhale, melt down, nose toward knee. And one more inhale, sitting up tall, exhale, nose toward knee. And then coming on up, we'll come into pigeon on this side, or at least start to come into pigeon. Left knee can come a little wider than the hip, then slide your right leg straight back. And we'll point that right hip point forward for now. So we're scissoring the inner thighs apart, and that little flex through the left foot is going to help shift that focus into the outer hip zone so we don't feel it in the knee. Looking neutral. Breathing there. Holding one more inhale. And then exhale, shift into that outer left thigh. Slide your right leg around. Crossed ankles. Gather your knees in. Uncross, bring your feet on the floor. And then reach your arms up as you inhale. Stamp through your feet. As you exhale to a cactus, windshield wiper your knees to the right and walk your hands around, sitting up really tall. Look over your right shoulder, lifting through that right side rib. Letting the outer right thigh drop toward the ground and really sweeping that left hip point around toward your belly. Inhale, exhale, belly in, come around back to center, windshield wiper to the left. The left knee is right out from your hip. Walk your hands around. Let the right hip roll right around to your belly. And gently look over your left shoulder, sitting up tall. Good. Inhale and exhale. Come around back to center. Soles of feet together, knees splay open. Slide your heels in pretty close toward your sitting bones. Inhale, sit up really tall. Exhale, use your elbows to press into the outer knees. Come forward a little bit. Then inhale, lift up, bring your knees in. And then exhale, let them open, pressing the elbows gently into the inner thighs. Spread your chest forward. Inhale, sit up, knees in. Exhale, open, moving your chest forward any amount. Then inhale, open. One more time. Exhale, take your heels a little further away. Cup your hands, fingers cup around the toes. Fold into Baddha Konasana, spreading the chest. And let's gently look forward. So we're breathing there into any tension. And you can look at your feet and be curious about the position of your feet. You might notice one big toe kind of further forward than the other. Try to match the feet together so that the toes are the same alignment, the balls of the feet, the heels are in the same alignment. And breathing there. Imagine the feet peeling open like the pages of a book. And when you inhale, feel the space of the back ribs expand. Then as you exhale, drop the tail and sit up tall. Cross either ankle on top, roll over the knees, and step back into downward facing dog. We're going to pedal the feet out. Pedal out your feet, lifting one heel at a time. Lifting the sitting bones high. And sliding your right heel high into three-legged dog. Keep lifting your left underarm. Open that right hip, stack it on top of the left. And if you can, lift that right knee up and start to trace a gentle circle toward the ceiling with that right knee. Now keep peeling that left knee open over the baby toe so that that left knee doesn't collapse in either. And we'll inhale, lift the right knee. Exhale, slide the right knee forward wider than the right wrist. And we're coming into pigeon. If pigeon is too intense for you today, you could take that reclined pigeon figure 4 pose on the back. So we're letting now the left top of the foot rest, left hip point roll toward the ground, and then come down. And rest your forehead either on your hands, maybe on a block, or eventually the floor, where we're going to breathe for a few smooth breaths in that pigeon position. So let's see about letting go of any gripping or tension you might be carrying in that right hip. Now, if it gets too intense, of course, you can ease out a little bit. Tune into your breath. So when you inhale, light and space surrounds any tension. And when you exhale, any gripping disperses away, disperses through the whole body and out into the ether and into the earth. Tune your focus in and down into your heart, remembering your intention for practice today. Then press through the top of that left foot, start to drop the tail, gather your lower belly, and walk yourself back up onto your fingertips. Shoulder blades glide down the back, lift your heart toward the sky, any amount of back bend on the inhale. Exhale, shift into the outer right thigh, and then you can use your left hand for support, or you can use your hip strength and slide that left foot around toward the outside of your right thigh. So we're coming here into a twist. The left foot is toward the outer right hip. We're going to turn gently. Take your right hand behind you. Left hand comes to the inner knee. The left knee is pointing up toward the sky. Look over your right shoulder. Touch the left first finger and thumb together for Gyan Mudra. Good. Sit up really tall. Inhale. Exhale, slide that left leg around, coming back through pigeon with the back toes tucked. And you can either come through child's pose or step right up through downward dog. Now, if it's in your practice, you could Inhale, lift the heels and flow to a plank pose. Exhale, elbows in, come all the way down on the belly through chaturanga. Feet are flat for cobra pose on the inhale. Shoulders down the back. Exhale, gather the belly. Tuck your toes and meet in downward dog. Spiral those inner thighs right up toward the sky. Step the feet a little closer. Swing your left heel high into three-legged dog. Open that left hip. Hinge the knee. Trace some circles in the air with that left knee. If that's not available, you can just stay in three-legged dog or wait in downward dog. Remember to keep wrapping that right knee open over the baby, toward the baby toe. It's really going to be more in alignment with the first and second toe. So when you inhale, lift that left inner knee away from the right heel of the hand. Then exhale, belly in, slide the left knee wider than the wrist, then extend straight back through the right baby toe. The right inner thigh groin is soft. The inner thighs are sliding apart. And that left foot a little bit flexed. So we really feel this in the outer butt. Then take your time to come down. Remember, if this feels too intense, you can always take that reclined variation on the back, or even a cross-legged forward fold would be fine. Rest your third eye center, that space between your eyebrows, onto something, the floor, a block, your thumbs. I'm resting on crocodile arms, which is stacked forearms. And then one of the goals really here, other than that deep hip opening in that left outer hip, is to relax as much as you can through your jaw, neck, and shoulders. And because as you are able to relax that jaw, the face, the neck, the shoulders, then that relaxation can trickle down the spine into the hips. So we're open, we're observing. A couple more breaths. Pigeon pose. And then bring your focus, your mind's eye down into the top of that right foot. Gather the belly and slowly come on up. Shoulders glide down the back as you lift your sternum, your chest up, and look up for any amount of back bend on the inhale. And then exhale, shift to the outer left thigh, manually help, or using your hip and core strength, slide that right foot around, bring your right foot to the outer hip, and we'll turn. Right arm on the inside of the knee, turn, look to the left, sit up tall. I have an open right palm, but you could try Gaya Mudra, touch the first finger and thumb together. We didn't do that on the other side, I don't think, but interesting to try. Bringing that first finger and thumb to touch. Promoting a sense of focus. And one more inhale. When you exhale, we're going to come out. Cross the ankles. Take your hands on your knees. Sit in a tall meditative seat for a moment with the shoulders on the back. Leaning back a little bit. Crown of head lifting up. And then keeping those ankles crossed, pull your belly in and slide your hands on your outer thighs as you slowly come down in this variation of reclined bound angle, where we have the ankles crossed, palms facing up. Inhale, exhale, let it out. Long flowing space from crown to tail. Open space in the hip joint. And gently scoop your knees in. Cross the other ankle on top. Let the knees open out. Hanging out for a couple moments. Breathing there. Resting the whole back body. Letting go of anything you want to release away with every exhale. And start to scoop the knees in. Hug your knees in. Come into full happy baby, reaching for the outside of the ankles or the outside edges of your feet, rocking to even out your hips. Offering some love, some tenderness, some gratitude to your healthy, happy hips today. Thanking yourself for showing up to practice. Go ahead and release your feet onto the ground. Give your feet a nice press and lift the hips off the ground a little bit, not a huge bridge. Engage your gluteals, then rest your hips down. Extend one leg out and the other leg out. And we're finding restorative Savasana for today. Closing your eyes. Taking a nice full minute or two, or longer if you need to unwind. Allowing the systems to reset. One of the impacts of a regular day-to-day yoga practice is the ability to create space. Not only space in the joints, but also space between your emotions and your ability to observe authentically the way you connect to a situation. So you're not swept away by emotional reactions. You're able to be centered, calm, observant throughout all the circumstances of your life. You're able to be present. And that ability does come with regular yoga practice. You're bringing your focus down to your heartbeat, down to your breath. How are you feeling? And remembering your intention for practice, inviting it back in, and inviting with every inhale what you want to cultivate. Wiggling fingers and toes, reaching the arms overhead, take a full inhale stretch. And when you exhale, gently, tenderly draw the knees in toward your body. And let's roll to the left-hand side. That's the cooling side of balancing out there, resting on the left-hand side. And then very slowly, when you're ready, pressing up to sit. So the crown of head will arrive up last of all. Make your way up. You're finding a tall, upright seat. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, press the hands down through the central channel, connecting the thumbs to the center of the chest. Drop your chin toward your chest. Sealing this practice, sealing your intention. And I am thanking you for practicing today and wishing you joy, peace, health, strength, courage, and always trust on the journey. Namaste. I really hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you're doing today. And I thank you for coming. Please like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment. Let me know you enjoyed this practice. And I look forward to seeing you again. Keep it up. Take care.